Hello everyone, I Dr. Pooja Sharma, Assistant Professor, Department of Management at the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, welcome you all to today's session on the topic Audience Analysis. This is an essential subject in the curriculum of the BCom course as well as a very crucial topic for those who wish to improve their public speaking skills. Let us first see the topics we will be learning today. The concept of audience analysis, importance of audience analysis factors, and lastly we will be doing the rhetorical triangle. Understanding your audience is fundamental to the success of any message. You need to adapt your message to fit the audience's goal, interests and needs, aptly quoted by Kitty O'Locker and Stephen Q. Kachmark. Understanding the concept. Audience analysis involves identifying the audience and adapting a speech to their interests, level of understanding, attitudes and beliefs. Taking an audience-centered approach is important because a speaker's effectiveness will be improved if the presentation is created and delivered in an appropriate manner. Identifying the audience through extensive research is often difficult. So, audience adaptation often relies on the healthy use of imagination. Have you ever thought, what does each letter in the word audience stand for? A stands for analyze. Who are your recipients? U stands for understand. What is their knowledge of your message? D is for demographics. What is their age, gender, education level, position? I is for interest. What are the interests or investments to your message? E is for environment. What is your relationship to the audience? Have you taken cultural differences into consideration? N is for needs. What information does your audience need? C is for customize. How do you adjust or tailor your message according to the needs of the audience? E is for expectations. What is your audience's expectations? Now we need to understand what is the importance of audience analysis. It is essential before designing any message. Communication can take place only when the message is received in the same sense and spirit that the sender intends to carry. Therefore, the sender has to devise some common ground between him and the audience. He has to choose the information that audience needs and finds interesting. He should encode the message in words and other symbols so that the audience understands it easily. Lastly, he should transmit the message along a channel that the audience will attend to. Who is your audience? We need to understand our audience. Let us take an example of Mr. X, a very renowned psychiatrist, who is planning to organize a webinar on mental health and well-being of the adolescents during COVID-19. He must understand that his target customers are the higher secondary and college students. But before presenting, he needs to find an answer to the following 7 questions to satisfy his target segment. Number 1, what are they like? Number 2, why are they here? Number 3, what keeps them up at night? What is the kind of fear that's keeping them away? Number 4, how can you solve their problem? What is it that you will talk in your webinar that will solve their problem? Number 5, what do you want them to do? Number 6, how can you best reach them? What kind of channel you're going to use? Are they going to use your webinar on their smartphones or on their laptops or on YouTube? How are you going to reach out to them? Number 7, how might they resist? What will you do so that they do not resist to this particular change? Hence, we see through this example that one needs to do a lot of homework and research to justify to the audience. Next, we need to understand the factors impacting audience analysis. Number 1, audience expectations. Number 2, knowledge of the topic, attitude towards the topic. Number 4, audience size. Number 5, demographics. Number 6, setting. Number 7, voluntariness. Let us delve in detail in each of these factors to make our public speaking more effective. Audience expectations. Number 1. When people become audience members in a speech situation, they bring with them expectations about the occasion, topic, speaker. Violating audience expectations can have a negative impact on the effectiveness of the speech. Imagine that a local politician is asked to speak at the college function. The audience will expect that the politician's speech will be including the youth, the future of youth, etc. But if the politician uses the opportunity to discuss a piece of legislation, the audience would probably be offended and the speaker will lose the credibility. Number 2, the knowledge of the topic. Audience knowledge of a topic can vary widely on any given occasion. Therefore, communicators should find out what their audience already knows about the topic. Never overestimate the audience's knowledge of a topic. If a speaker launches into a technical discussion of genetic engineering, but the listeners are not familiar with basic genetics, they will be unable to follow your speech and quickly lose interest. On the other hand, drastically underestimating the audience's knowledge may result in a speech that sounds condescending. Number 3, attitude towards the topic. Knowing audience members' attitudes about a topic will help a speaker determine the best way to reach their goals. Number 4, audience size. Many elements of speech making change in accordance with audience size. In general, the larger the audience, the more formal the presentation should be. Sitting down, using common language when speaking to a group of 10 people is often quite appropriate. However, that style of presentation would probably be inappropriate or ineffective if you were speaking to 1,000 people. Large audiences often require that you use a microphone and speak from an elevated platform. Number 5 is demographics. The demographic factors of an audience include age, gender, religion, ethnic background, class, occupation, education, group membership, and countless other categories. Since these categories often organize individuals' identities and experiences, a wise speaker attends to each one of them. Politicians pay a great deal of attention to demographic factors when they are on the campaign trail. If a politician speaks today in Mumbai, he will more likely discuss the issues that are more relevant to people, such as migrant crisis or how to prevent COVID-19 spread. Communicators must be careful about stereotyping an audience based on demographic information. Using demographic factors to guide speech making does not mean changing the goal of the speech for every different audience. Rather, consider what pieces of information will be most important for members of different demographic groups. Setting. The setting of a presentation can influence the ability to give a speech and the audience's ability and desire to listen. Some of these factors are the setup of that particular room, how the audience is arranged, the time of the day. Finding out ahead of time the different factors going into the setting will allow a speaker to adapt their speech appropriately. For example, will there be a stage? Will there be a podium? What technology aids will be available? How are the seats going to be arranged? What is the order of the speakers? While these issues may appear minor compared to the content of the speech and the makeup of the audience, this foreknowledge will soothe nerves, help in developing eye contact, and ensure that the appropriate technology, if necessary, is available. Take into account the way the setting will affect audience attention and participation. People are usually tired after a meal and late in the day. If scheduled to speak at 1 p.m., a speaker may have to make the speech more entertaining by addition of animation or humor, exhibit more enthusiasm, or otherwise involve the audience in order to keep their attention. Number 7, the last factor is voluntariness. Audiences are either voluntary, in which case they are genuinely interested in what a presenter has to say, or involuntary, in which case they are inherently disinterested in the presentation. Knowing the difference will assist in establishing how hard a speaker needs to work to spark that interest of the audience. Involuntary audiences are notoriously hard to generate and maintain interest in a topic. Hope you are understanding and finding it useful, as most of you will be working with corporates in future. The last part of this module is very interesting and focuses on the rhetorical triangle. Understanding the rhetorical triangle. Rhetoric is the ancient art of using language to persuade. If you use it well, your audience will easily understand what you are saying and will more likely be influenced by it. The 3 points on the rhetorical triangle relate directly to the 3 classic appeals you should consider when communicating. Number 1, ethos means building trust by establishing your credibility and authority. Number 2 is pathos, appealing to the emotion by connecting with your audience through their values and interests. Number 3 is logos, appealing to your audience's intelligence with well-constructed and clearly argued ideas. Here there is a picture of rhetorical triangle. Try to understand the 3 rhetorical appeals in much more detail by looking at this particular pyramid. I sum up here believing that you got the gist of this topic. We'll meet you soon in some more interesting sessions. Best wishes. Thank you.